Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kirby's Epic Yarn playthrough. It's time for Hotland! And so, we begin with our very first level, and it's a pyramid level because, you know, grassland, desert land, so on and so forth. Typical Nintendo level structures. But this is quite a cool level because it introduces the, essentially, quicksand yarn quilt. Basically, you stand on the yarn and it'll gradually pull you down, and there are different layers in it, and it's quite cool. You also have these mummies, which are really adorable. Like, really adorable. They will still obviously try and hurt you, but it's just like, oh. Some of them are more deadly than others, but I mean, you had enemies like that, which are like the money bags. I can't remember exactly what that enemy is called, but he will give you so many beads that I mean, it's not a huge amount, but it's certainly very, very helpful. I believe having just quickly Wikipedia'd, it is called a sneak snack. And they actually only appear in this level, Pyramid Sands, as a swad clod, which is what the mummies are called, and also in the beginning of a level a little bit later on. Which is odd. They are also apparently a fair number of them in the mini-games of one of the tenants that we will eventually get. But I don't think we have located them just yet. By locate, I actually mean make the room up for them. What is important to note about those sneak sacks, though, is that if you throw a projectile at them or unravel them, you will get 100 beads, but if you roll them into a yarn ball, you will get absolutely sod all. So you do just have to be a wee bit careful with those sorts of things. They're very similar to, you know, the coin coffers in Mario, and they do run away, but the thing with the sneak snacks, I'm going to keep saying that, aren't I? The thing with the sneak sacks is that they will just constantly, well, if you don't kill them quickly enough, they will disappear. So you've got to be on the ball, really. But despite the fact that this is, you know, a very standard desert level, little bit slow, a little bit dull, Hotland does actually pick up a little bit because it's more than just a desert level, because you have got lava in here, you have got a whole variety of things going on, so it does a hell of a lot more than just being a desert level, and I really, really, really appreciate that. Because one of the major problems that you get in a lot of platformers, or at least certainly platformers of this ilk, is that they begin to get very, very samey, and that's just frustrating. So it's always nice when you get something a little bit new. Speaking of something new, we've got another Metamato transformation, and oh my god, I love it. So I believe that this is the it's like the Ridge Racer transformation or something, or the Roadster. I believe that might be. It's something like that. Either way, this is easily one of my favourite Metamato transformations because it's just so much fun. I mean, all you're doing is holding down and letting it drive. Oh, so it's the off-roader, that's what it's called. But it's just so fun, and you're racing, and it's dead cool, and the music is just so awesome. It's pretty much always the same music whenever you're using the off-roader. But it's just an absolute blast to play as. As with pretty much all of the other transformations, it only turns up in a few levels. But where it does turn up, it's pretty damn fun, although the off-roader is associated with what I would argue is one of the most difficult levels to get a gold rank on. Before I started recording this game, I had never gold ranked it before. Because I'm a bit of a... Well, I tried my best, but I got so frustrated that I just gave up. So, yeah, that was a thing. But hopefully, this time around, we'll get that gold rank. But before we actually, you know, continue with Hotland, we actually have all of the collectibles necessary to build the next flat. So let's go and do that right now, because we might as well. So yes, I mean, we already had the Rainbow Arch, but we needed that camel sofa. And that sorts us right out. So what wonderful tenant are we going to get in today? Oh look! It's Beedrix! And you know how I was speaking about those sneak sacks earlier on? Well actually, you can get quite a few sneak sacks in Beedrix's levels. Largely because the entire point of these levels is to collect beads. So for this particular one, it collects 600 beads in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Which can be a little bit of a challenge. But you're in the UFO, so you should be pretty good to go. You've just got to be on point with everything and just make sure to destroy everything possible. I mean, particularly as you head downwards, because you're going to have to run back up. Because that's where all the beads appear once you've selected that, so you've got to be so on it. I mean, thankfully they do give you more than enough time to collect all 600 beads, but if you didn't destroy the things on the way down, then you may be in for a little bit more of a rough ride than really you should be. Now, in total, I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's about 20 Beedrix levels for you to complete. And, I mean, you won't be able to fully complete everything until, I'm pretty sure, right near the end of the game. It'll be like the penultimate world or so. So you'll be in it for the long haul, if you're wanting to complete all of Beedrix's challenges, but it's not too bad. I think there's some later of the minigames that are particularly challenging, but still. Now, something that's slightly odd about Beedrix, I mean, obviously, Beatrix, that's where they're going with that. But apparently in the Japanese version, Beedrix refers to herself using masculine pronouns. It's very odd. I mean, it might mean that Beatrix is actually male, but then pretty much everything in the Western releases, Beatrix is female. So, just gotta go with that. And now we have another new mechanic in this lava world, and it is these bomb creatures. Which I could never remember the names of any of these enemies, because, I mean, most of the time, not really hugely important. You just go like, oh, it's the bomb enemies, and that pretty much sorts you out. But yeah, these guys are slightly irritating. So, I mean, technically I think this is a bomber. That's what's coming up in my research. But you've got to throw them frequently to explode things. Obviously, as you do with bombs. But the arc that you throw in is very, very, very specific. And that can get you into massive trouble. I mean, there is pretty much one of the final levels in the game. Basically, in that mission, it is possible to miss a collectible or one of the bonus star pieces because of throwing, and it's just so mean. I mean, situations like this are fine because you can just grab the bomber, drop it in there, and you're sorted. But as soon as you start having to throw them and be precise in your aim, it all becomes a little bit more difficult. Which is frustrating, but then, considering Epic Yarn is pretty much so low on the challenge level, you can forgive the odd thing being slightly frustrating. Also, we have another Metamato transformation. Hell yes! This time we have the fire engine, which is just so adorable. Just getting to spurt loads of yarn water out at everything, and it's just beautiful. Now, what this can also do is it can create platforms on lava, because it solidifies the lava and then you can drive over it. I mean, technically that should be an impossibility, because, you know, rubber tyres would just begin to melt on anything that, even if it had been solidified, it would still be incredibly warm and probably more like magma by that point. But I think the tyres would struggle to drive over it, but then I suppose it's all yarn, so heat doesn't necessarily come into the situation. Either way, we are now in the heart of the volcano, and it is about to blow. So we need to climb in what is partially an homage to the Metroid escape sequences, but not really, because I don't think that's what they were thinking about. They were just thinking, what would be a fun platforming challenge? Oh, I know, let's go and escape a volcano. And to be fair, it is a pretty cool set piece. It can be a little bit fraught, but when you've basically gotten everything that you need to, the only real problem is grabbing this collectible and then scarpering back to the other side to get the final bonus star piece. Because you do only just have enough time to do that if you have been going up successfully. But seeing as I already have a gold rank, I was pretty safe in the knowledge that everything was going to be fine. And then you do only have... I don't know, I think once you've torn that, it does just close off the volcano and you are fine, but it does begin to speed up quite rapidly as you start to climb those last few levels, so you just be on it. Otherwise you will regret it quite badly. So, it's another level done. And we get another genie to come out and give us more levels! Yes! I do love the in-between level opening scenes. They're just so fun and so so imaginative. It's one of the things that I was really disappointed about when it comes to Yoshi's Woolly World, is that in terms of going between levels, it was just so normal. It was just dull, and it was a bit like, oh, I was quite excited about all of that, and then you sort of ruined it. But oh well, it can't be helped. Anyway, we have just there been introduced to battens, which are, you know, bats and buttons, because you needed more bat puns. Well, more yarn puns, to be more specific. Well, more correct, anyway. A fun little thing about these fellas is that their Japanese name is Basa Basa, which is a reference to the Japanese sound effect for flapping, which is basa, which is actually quite cool if you ask me. And yeah, this level is a little bit labyrinthine. And to get everything, you need to be very precise in how you're using your weight move, because obviously if you use it all the way down, you miss the damn chest. But if you don't do it hard enough, then obviously you're not going to go down, so you've just got to be on it. The only real thing that frustrates me particularly when it comes to this level is that you do spend a lot of time just rolling about through these tunnels, and you're just like, oh, can we just stop now, please? You end up going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and round and round and round and round and round, and you're just like, please stop. But it's a cool mechanic and idea. It's just that it can get a little bit tedious just going through all of these tunnels so frequently. Now, I can't remember... Well, I can't remember any of the names of these enemies, which is ridiculous. You'd think I would, you know, try quite, well, a lot harder to remember these things, but they all have such odd names. I mean, I'm pretty sure that that massive thing that looks like a bomb, and the smaller thing that looks like a bomb, is a rolling clod. And I am indeed correct in that. And, I mean, they're quite cool. I mean, especially what we've got to do with one of them here, because obviously it's got spikes on it. So, spikes are able to obliterate things. So you need to bring it over here, and it'll smash through all of that for us, and we can get our next chest, which contains the theme for Cool Cave. Because we just need to continue that theme of, well, every single level has 2 standard collectibles and then the soundtrack for the level. Which I mean, I'm very grateful for, because the soundtrack for this game, as I have, I'm sure, mentioned already, is wonderful. Like, it's just absolutely adorable. I mean, this is probably not the best level to be talking about the music, but we've just got to go with the flow of these things, you know? And as I quickly, frantically try and get more information on the composing for this game, we've got this rather nifty little level gimmick of the falling crystal shards, and then you have to use them as platforms to get higher. It's quite clever. So, pretty much all I have got to do with the soundtrack is that the composer is Tomoya Tomita, who I think has done an absolutely wonderful job on this game. Like, it's such an excellent soundtrack, because it's so calm and relaxing when it wants to be, but it's so upbeat as well, and it's just... There's something about the piano. Having the piano as pretty much the primary instrument just makes Epic Yarn very, very, very unique, because I really can't think of a single other game that... or at least single other major gaming title that has a soundtrack with this kind of musical tone. And I think that just further cements its charm. Now, rather sadly, I think Epic Yarn is the only game that Tomoya Tomita has as a credit as a composer, but he has... Although I might be slightly wrong on that. But he's not really composed for that many games, and that's a shame, because I think he is a really, really good composer. So, I mean, he did also do the music for Yoshi's Woolly World alongside Misaki Asada. I think he is pretty much the main composer for the Good Feel games, Good Feel being obviously the developers, but they haven't really done many games since Epic Yarn, and at least not anything of note that would have any real musical stuff. So, I mean, according to the video game music, I think it's some sort of preservation foundation or something. It's like a Wikipedia page. He was involved in numerous games, I think, with Konami. I mean, I think he worked on sound effects, and he was the sound designer or producer for games like Castlevania Circle of the Moon, Legacy of Darkness, Dracula X, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, and I believe he also worked on the music and sound effects for Wario Land Shake It. But I think that Epic Yarn and Woolly World are his main composer credits. But anyway, that's pretty much us most of the way through Hotland, so let's just continue onwards, eh?